Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm outside. The affirmative resolution from the opposing side was that AI has become embedded essentially in everyday society, and because of this, it poses risk by destroying and taking over people's job, creating insecurity and economic despair. While also creating the opportunity for bias as AIs in the opposing eyes is loosely controlled and monitored, thus misinformation is able to be created, clouding people's judgment, so they believe it's necessary. New federal law regulates AI further. I will address all these issues clearly, tell you exactly why this is unnecessary. The affirmative argument fails to address that many large AI companies, such as OpenAI, Claude, all properly address when using their product. Their information is then used to train models and stored in data banks for legal purposes. OpenAI does not state that they sell off your data. My opponent argues that users' information is often stored, shared, or used to train models without any disclosure, as artificial intelligence systems are increasingly prying on large amounts of personal data. Individuals often don't fully understand how their data is collected, and this processes are not disclosed clearly. My rebuttal to this is that the stock issue using inherency as the argument assumes that all AI companies lack transparency for not openly disclosing users' information. Despite this, although it may be hard to locate the information, major companies such as OpenAI disclose this information. And to support this, OpenAI, since 2026, has stated when you use their services, individuals such as ChatGPT, Sora, our operator, we may use your content to train our models. The evidence clearly addresses that major AI companies such as OpenAI properly disclose that towards users that they use when using their product with your own free will, you will have your data used to train models as well as for legal purposes with your free will. It's the key word here. My second piece of evidence: all four agencies have previously expressed their concerns about potentially harmful uses of automated systems and resolved to vigorously enforce their collective authorities to monitor the development and use of automated systems. This comes from the FTC. They say that the need for strict laws is unnecessary and it undermines current federal laws. As government agencies such as the FTC, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, FPB, and EEOC all address concerns of the AI and recognize its dangers as they work together to properly uphold current law to protect the people. And although the opposing side does dismiss that the current federal law protects people from misinformation and fraud, the argument that AI is consistently evolving is true, and thus I agree that new legislative law must be created that is both strong enough to protect the citizens while being fair and not too restrictive. And although it's argued that misinformation can be created through AI and cloud people's judgment, it's important to understand that current federal law holds people accountable for creating political misinformation along with fraud and identity theft. And although it is true that AI might create some job displacement, this is true for technically every technological revolution, such as the Industrial Revolution, where got displaced, and then over the next few years, those jobs were replaced with new and more efficient positions, machinery, and we're doing better than ever now. Same comes with AI. Through job insecurity with the rise of automation, many Americans are projected to fail or face job insecurity or change. The employment provides individuals with financial stability and healthcare and economic security, is what my opponent says. So, as I stated previously, yes, the opposing affirmative argument is correct. Jobs will be displaced, but in their argument, they fail to recognize that this displacement of millions of jobs will be created, and then millions of jobs will be created in the following year, showing yet a positive outcome. For example, my evidence states by 2026, advancements in technologies, partially AI, informing processing, 86% robotics, and automation of 58%. This will entail the creation of new jobs amounting to 170 million, according to the World Economic Forum by 2020 in 2025. The World Economic Forum addresses that 170 million new jobs will be created from AI, robotics, and automation. With this, 92 million jobs will be displaced, leaving 78 million new jobs created in net growth, 7%, which means this is positive. This is good. Yeah. But additionally, China is pursuing a full stack approach to AI development. This is important. From chips, computer infrastructure to foundation models and applications, American AI models, and that's the source. Maintain a clear lead in overall performance across a wide range of industry benchmarks, from math reasoning to code generation and long horizon agentic tasks. This comes from Chan 2026. That's the author. Restricting AI growth and forcing it to be heavily regulated completely creates a serious issue in national security. As competitor nations such as China are racing to beat our AI models, any strict regulations on AI can cause advancement to slow as well as production to ultimately slow, creating slower job growth, which is very dangerous overall. And although if we do look at this from a temporary standpoint, it's important to note that it is true people will be affected negatively for a short period of time. But in the years to follow, more jobs will be created than destroyed, allowing for both jobs and businesses to boom. And this is very important. Overall, deconstructing the argument that AI will harm people along with our country as it creates risks towards national security. Additionally, my opponent argued that, or my counterclaim is strict federal regulation will have a more of a negative effect than a positive effect, as now with AI integrated in every corner of our lives, big institutions, colleges, students rely on it to help each other and better understand their coursework through the tools that AI presents. And it's been embedded basically in every single walk of life. Medical institutions, research institutions, everybody uses it now to help identify patterns, weaknesses, to better medicine, allowing for studies to be a lot more successful than they previously were. My opponents argue that federal regulation provides the necessary solution to address AI-related harms by establishing enforceable standards for transparency, accountability, privacy protection, equality, and responsibility. It includes outlines on algorithm discrimination, privacy, human alternatives, and system protections. My rebuttal? Although this is true, federal regulation is needed as AI is harmful to the environment and its species, humans, us. It also has many positives that aren't addressed and in the affirmative argument, such as its advances to technology and medical research, including that of cancer. Now, here's my evidence. AI presents an unprecedented opportunity to advance our understanding of cancer and improve care for people with cancer. Applications include understanding and predicting biological mechanisms, finding and leveraging patterns in clinical data to improve patent outcomes, and disentangling complex epidemiological behavior in real world data. And this comes from the National Cancer Institution 2024. According to this Cancer Research Institution, AI has been able to help it successfully by observing sets of data collected and then finding patterns in those data sets to help better the outcome in studies, allowing for progress in research to be much more effective. Excuse me. Additionally, from Louis 2025, a meta-analysis of 49 articles showed the mean effect in sizes of Gen AI on students' learning achievement and learning motivation were 0.857 and 0.803, respectively, indicating a positive impact of Gen AI on education. Evidence from Meta AI highlights that AI has a positive effect on students' learning successes and achievements, as their motivation has positively been affected when given access to greater tools and knowledge. Now, this is only true on short-term data. Long-term shows less growth. Now, when it comes to issues not addressed, although I believe my argument was pretty solid, there was some faulty things. I didn't properly address specifically how AI impacts the environment, and I more addressed how it affects research and regulations, and how they are or shouldn't be strict to protect they should be strict to protect the environment, but it could be negative if they're too strict, as they can affect national security along with research and the growth we have in the job market. Overall, as I stated before, the opposing sides believe that it is necessary to get the federal government to regulate AI, as it is destructive towards the environment and loosely controlled by current laws. I argue in opposition to this by stating AI does follow guidelines by telling you what they do with your information clearly if you decided to do so with your free will, to use their AI with your free will. I also go over how, although there are negatives with AI, as the displacement in jobs is only temporary. This is fixed as time progresses. And furthermore, restricting and regulating can cause both an issue of national security, but also an advancement in technology and research if regulated too harshly. Thus, legislative law must be created, but it must be created loosely. Thank you for your time.